The resignation letter felt heavy in Senator Alexandra Mitchell's hand as she stared out the reinforced windows of Kennedy Space Center. 15 years of fighting corporate corruption in Congress ended by a single leaked recording. The irony wasn't lost on her. She was being forced to resign because someone had exposed her refusing a bribe. "The evening news is going to love this," she muttered, watching the Florida sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple. The same media outlets owned by the corporations she'd fought against would gleefully tear apart her career, turning her integrity into a scandal about refusing to cooperate with business interests. Her assistant, Tom, appeared at her shoulder. "Speech is ready, Senator. Though I still think that I should fight it." Alex turned, managing a tired smile. "Sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war, Tom. Give me 5 minutes." As Tom left, Alex smoothed her navy blazer and checked her reflection in the window. At 45, the premature gray streaks in her dark hair had once bothered her. Now they felt appropriate. Battle scars from years of political warfare. The first flash of light in the sky barely registered. Living near the Space Center meant frequent launches and reentries. The second flash, however, was followed by a sonic boom that rattled the windows. Alex's political instincts, honed by years of crisis management, screamed that something was wrong. Her phone buzzed, not with news alerts or panicked messages from her staff, but with an emergency override from the Joint Chiefs. Alex had served on the Space Defense Committee long enough to know this wasn't a drill. The sky erupted with light. Through the reinforced windows, Alex watched as massive shapes emerged from swirling energy vortexes. They defied easy description, like floating cities made of crystalline metal, each larger than Manhattan. 7 of them, arranged in a perfect hexagon, with one at the center, hovering over Cape Canaveral. "Tom," she shouted, but he was already there, along with a dozen military officers who had seemingly materialized from nowhere. One of them, General Rivera, was already barking orders into a secure phone. "Get the president to NORAD. I want every missile silo in the eastern seaboard on standby." "Someone get me." A voice filled the room. No, filled every room, every space, somehow both thunderous and whisper quiet. "ATTN2ION, Human GOVERNANC entities. Your species has been designated for immediate integration into the Galactic Confederation. Surrender your autonomous status or at a immediate pacification." The military officers exploded into action, but Alex barely heard them. Her eyes were fixed on the holographic message now floating above Kennedy Space Center's main plaza. As a senior member of the Space Defense Committee, she had participated in countless first contact scenarios. None of them had prepared her for the actual diplomatic document floating in the air. But something about it caught her attention. The phrasing, the structure. "General," she said sharply, cutting through the chaos. "That's not a military ultimatum. It's a corporate merger proposal." Rivera turned to her, confusion crossing his features. "Senator Mitchell, with all due respect, look at the language." Alex stepped forward, her political instincts firing on all cylinders. Integration instead of conquest. Autonomous status rather than independence. They're using corporate legal framework. I've fought against enough hostile takeovers to recognize the pattern. She pointed to a scrolling section of alien text that was automatically translating itself. There, subordinate clauses, contingency provisions. This isn't a demand for military surrender. It's a negotiating position. The room fell silent as Alex moved closer to the window, studying the massive ships with new eyes. "They're not here to destroy us, General. They're here to acquire us. And they've just made their opening offer." She crumpled the resignation letter in her hand. Sometimes the universe had a strange sense of timing. They needed a politician, not a general. And Alex Mitchell had nothing left to lose. "Get me a direct channel to their command ship," she ordered. I think it's time to counteroffer. The alien flagship's reception chamber was a deliberate display of power. Crystalline walls towered 30 feet high, refracting light in impossible patterns. The delegation of 6 different alien species arranged themselves in what was clearly meant to be an intimidating formation. Alex Mitchell noticed something else. It was arranged exactly like a Senate Oversight Committee, with the powerful members elevated and the lesser species serving as aides below. "Your presence is irregular," announced the central figure, a towering being with iridescent scales and multiple eye stalks. "Our protocols dictate interaction with military command structures." Alex adjusted her blazer, a gesture that had preceded countless political victories. "I am Senator Alexandra Mitchell, representing Earth's interests." "And you are?" She deliberately let the question hang, knowing that in any negotiation, making the other party introduce themselves first was a tiny but crucial advantage. The aliens' eye stalks twitched, the first crack in their perfect composure. "I am Supreme Coordinator Velkson. Your understanding of our language is unexpected." "As is your understanding of ours," Alex countered smoothly, "almost as if you've been studying us for some time. Interesting that this wasn't mentioned in your initial proposal." She caught it then. A slight movement from one of the supposedly subordinate species, a small gray-skinned being with large liquid eyes. The gesture was subtle, but Alex had spent years reading human political aids. That was disapproval, masked as deference. Velkson's scales rippled. "Our terms are non-negotiable. Earth will be integrated into the Galactic Confederation." Alex interrupted, earning gasps from several aliens. "Yes, I read the full document, including subsection 7.3, which outlines the integration protocols for species with pre-existing space programs. Fascinating reading, especially the parts that directly contradict Confederation law regarding first contact procedures." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien languages. Alex kept her eyes on the gray-skinned aide, who was now studying her with undisguised interest. "You cannot possibly understand," Viltsin began, "the complex political dynamics of the Confederation." Alex pulled out her tablet, watching their reaction to the primitive technology. "Let's discuss the voting records from your last 3 General Assemblies, particularly the growing faction of younger worlds pushing for reform. Or should we talk about the trade disputes in the Orion Arm that your delegation failed to resolve last cycle?" Dead silence. Alex had spent the entire trip to the flagship studying the data their ships had been inadvertently broadcasting. Their security was impressive, but they hadn't counted on human hackers who spent their lives breaking into corporate databases. The gray-skinned aide stepped forward slightly, breaking protocol. "Supreme Coordinator, the human shows unexpected knowledge." Silence. Kithrix. Vilkson's command came too quickly, too sharply. Alex smiled inwardly. There it was, the real power dynamic. She'd seen it countless times in Senate hearings, where the true experts were often silenced by politically appointed supervisors. "Perhaps," she said carefully, "we should discuss this as equals. After all, Earth didn't survive its atomic age, develop spaceflight, and unite its nations by being primitive." She pulled up another file on her tablet. "And we certainly didn't survive by ignoring evidence of internal dissent among potential allies." The image that projected into the chamber showed clear signs of conflict between Confederation ships, data their own systems had leaked during their arrival. It was a bluff. The images were mostly sensor ghosts and routine maneuvers. But Alex had testified against enough corporate giants to know that sometimes the suggestion of evidence was as powerful as evidence itself. Velkson's eye stalks went rigid. "This meeting is concluded. You will be returned to Earth to await." "Actually," Alex interrupted again, "I believe Kithrix was about to share some crucial information about the real reason for this integration proposal. Weren't you, Administrator Kithrix?" The chamber erupted into chaos again, but Alex kept her composure. She just played her first real card, She'd recognized Kithrix's rank insignia, hidden beneath ceremonial robes. The gray-skinned alien wasn't a mere aide, but a senior administrator seemingly demoted to a servant's role. And judging by the look in those liquid eyes, she'd just found her first ally in the coming political war. The International Space Station had never been designed for clandestine meetings with alien diplomats. Alex paced the cramped observation module, the Earth floating serene and blue beyond the reinforced glass. The station had been chosen for its symbolic neutrality, and because human surveillance systems still controlled every inch of it. At exactly midnight UTC, a small transport pod docked with barely a whisper. Kithrix emerged alone, their gray skin almost luminescent in the station's harsh lighting. "You took an enormous risk contacting me directly, Senator Mitchell," Kithrix said, their liquid eyes reflecting the Earth's glow. "If Vilkson discovered this meeting, then we'd both be accused of violating protocol," Alex finished, pulling up a secure tablet. "But we both know the Confederation's protocols are exactly the problem, aren't they?" Kithrix's antenna twitched. A gesture Alex had learned indicated surprise. "You understand more than you should." "I understand systems of control," Alex replied, thinking of countless corporate boardrooms and backroom deals. "Your supreme coordinator isn't just offering Earth membership in the Confederation. You're desperate for it. The question is, why?" The alien administrator moved to the window, their multiple fingers pressing against the glass. "What do you know of our history, Senator?" "Only what we've pieced together from your data leaks. The Confederation spans thousands of systems, governed by AI-driven protocols to ensure perfect diplomatic harmony." Alex stepped closer. "Except it's not working anymore, is it?" Kithrix made a sound like distant wind chimes, their species equivalent of a bitter laugh. "Perfect diplomatic harmony. Yes, that was the promise. 10,000 years ago, the founding species created the protocol, an AI system designed to eliminate the messiness of organic politics. Every diplomatic decision, every resource allocation, every conflict resolution, all handled by perfect logical algorithms." "Let me guess," Alex said, "the logical solution isn't always the right one. The protocol cannot handle innovation, cannot process genuine cultural exchange, cannot." Kithrix struggled for the word, "cannot feel." "We have peace, yes, but it is the peace of stagnation. The younger species grow restless. The ancient races grow fearful. And then we discovered Earth." Alex felt her pulse quicken. "What makes us so special?" "You fight," Kithrix said simply. "Not with weapons. The galaxy has plenty of those. You fight with words, with ideas, with—" they gestured at Alex's tablet, "with leaked recordings and public opinion and backroom deals. Your politics are chaos by our standards. Beautiful, terrifying chaos. And the Confederation wants to study this chaos. Vilkson's faction wants to control it. They believe by integrating Earth under strict protocols, they can prevent our own species from demanding similar freedoms. But others of us," Kithrix's eyes seemed to glow brighter, "we see an opportunity." Alex leaned against the module's wall, her mind racing through the implications. "You want to use Earth as a catalyst for change. That's why they put you in a subordinate position. You support reforming the protocol. The Confederation is dying, Senator. Perfect logic has brought us to perfect paralysis. We need—" Kithrix paused, choosing their words carefully. "We need human unreason. We need your ability to build coalitions, to make emotional appeals, to find innovative solutions that defy pure logic. And if we refuse to be your revolutionary spark, then Vilkson's faction will ensure Earth's integration is particularly thorough. Your culture would be classified as disruptive, your political systems replaced with protocol oversight. Humanity would become another perfectly logical, perfectly obedient member of the Confederation." Alex felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's temperature. She'd seen enough corporate takeovers to know what thorough integration meant. The systematic destruction of everything that made a company, or in this case a species, unique. So those are our options: spark a galactic revolution or lose everything that makes us human. Kithrix turned from the window, their posture shifting to something Alex recognized from 1,000 political negotiations, the stance of someone about to propose a dangerous alternative. There is a third option, Senator, one that would require all of your political skills and would likely end with either spectacular success or spectacular failure. The alien administrator's eyes fixed on her. Would you like to hear about the loophole I've discovered in the protocol's own programming? Senator Mitchell, this is absolute madness. General Rivera's hologram flickered in the secure bunker beneath Washington, D.C. You want to fight an alien invasion with Twitter? Alex studied the real-time feed streaming across her monitors. 12 hours since she'd implemented Kithrix's plan, and the results were already exceeding her wildest expectations. Not just Twitter, General. We're fighting with every weapon humanity has perfected over centuries of social manipulation. The largest screen showed a viral video of a Confederation ship's crew secretly watching human entertainment broadcasts. Another displayed trending topics across multiple alien networks, with Earth Culture Festival dominating the charts. The third showed thousands of amateur translations of Earth's literature flooding Confederation data networks. They never considered entertainment as a security risk, Alex explained. Their protocols are designed to block military data, political manifestos, revolutionary content, but they have no defense against cat videos. Tom, her aide, rushed in with another tablet. Senator, that K-pop concert we broadcast to the Centauri sector just crashed 3 major Confederation cultural filtering nodes, and the cooking shows are causing riots in the Orion Arms food distribution centers. Alex allowed herself a small smile. The Confederation's perfect logical system had never encountered humanity's mastery of emotional manipulation through media. Their firewalls were useless against content that triggered feelings rather than thoughts. But the real weapon, she said, pulling up another screen, is this. The monitor showed hundreds of seemingly innocent cultural exchange sessions occurring across Earth. What the Confederation didn't realize was that each one was actually a crash course in grassroots organizing, protest tactics, and civil resistance. Every alien species sent observers to study us. Alex explained to the general. We're just being good hosts, showing them how humans interact. Rivera's hologram flickered as he shook his head. And Kithrix's faction is helping spread this. They're ensuring the right observers get invited to the right events. Right now, a group of Proxima Centauri delegates is attending what they think is a human religious ceremony. Alex checked her notes. It's actually an Occupy Wall Street reunion planning session. The bunker's door hissed open as Dr. Sarah Hassan, Earth's leading genopsychologist, entered with new data. Senator, the mimetic warfare is working better than we anticipated. The Confederation's younger species are particularly susceptible to human cultural transmission. Of course they are, Alex said, remembering countless political campaigns. They've lived under perfect logical control for generations. We're offering them something they've never had, the freedom to be illogical. A red alert flashed across her main screen. Tom quickly pulled up the details. Velksin's faction is demanding an emergency session of the Confederation Council. They're claiming Earth is conducting psychological warfare. Perfect. Alex straightened her jacket. Time for Phase 2. Dr. Hassan, is our little cultural presentation ready? The xenopsychologist nodded, bringing up a complex display of data. We've compiled the most emotionally resonant moments in human history, everything from the moon landing to the fall of the Berlin Wall, all carefully selected to trigger specific psychological responses in each major Confederation species. And the social media campaign. Tom grinned, ready to launch across all Confederation networks. The hashtag #EarthStandsWithYou is primed in 3,000 alien languages. General Rivera's hologram sputtered. This isn't warfare. This is politics, General, Alex corrected. Vilkson's faction thinks they can control the narrative with logical arguments and protocol citations, but humanity wrote the book on narrative warfare. She turned to her team. Launch everything. Flood their networks with human art, music, literature. Show them what free expression looks like. And most importantly, she smiled, remembering every dirty political campaign she'd ever fought. Make them feel something. As her orders were carried out, Alex watched the Confederation's carefully controlled information networks dissolve into beautiful chaos. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens were experiencing something new. The messy, illogical, emotionally charged essence of human culture. They thought they could assimilate us, she murmured, watching the revolution spread at light speed. They never considered we might assimilate them first. The real war was just beginning, and humanity's greatest weapons weren't missiles or bombs. They were cat videos, protest songs, and the unstoppable power of viral media. Alex's blood ran cold as she watched the orbital feeds. Vilkson's retaliation had come faster and harder than expected. Confederation warships now hung over every major Earth city, weapons primed. Surrender your cultural broadcast networks immediately. Vilkson's image dominated every screen in the bunker, their eye stalks rigid with fury. Your attempt to destabilize the Confederation ends now. But Alex wasn't watching Vilkson. Her eyes were fixed on the smaller feed showing the Confederation Council chamber, where Cathric stood ready to play their part. Everything hinged on the next few moments. Supreme Coordinator, Alex replied, her voice steady despite the stakes. I assume you've reviewed our final transmission. Your primitive attempts at manipulation. Not manipulation, Alex interrupted. Evidence, specifically, evidence of your faction violating Article 7 of the original protocol. The one forbidding military action against species during first contact negotiations. The bunker erupted in activity as Vilkson's ships charged their weapons. Dr. Hassan's instruments showed panic spreading across Earth's population, but Alex kept her eyes locked on Kithrix's feed. You have forced our hand, Vilkson declared. The protocol allows for military intervention when there's a clear and present danger to Confederation stability, Alex finished. But there's nothing in the protocol about defending against cat videos and K-pop, is there? She nodded to Tom, who activated their final countermeasure. Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, the carefully planted seeds of revolution bloomed. Every screen, every data node, every communication channel erupted with the same message. We are not algorithms. The words appeared in every language, every format, spreading faster than the Confederation's sensors could contain it. And behind each message was proof, carefully documented evidence of Vilkson's faction breaking their own sacred protocols in their desperate attempts to maintain control. You see, Supreme Coordinator, Alex continued, her voice now broadcasting to the entire Confederation. While you were watching our official channels, you missed something important. Those cultural exchange programs weren't just teaching aliens about human culture. They were teaching them how to organize, how to resist, how to think for themselves. The weapons pointing at Earth cities powered down as chaos erupted across the Confederation. Kithrix's voice rang out in the council chamber. I call for an immediate vote of no confidence in the current leadership, as provided for in Protocol Section 12.9. Vilkson's image sputtered. You cannot. The protocol. The protocol requires logical adherence to its rules, Alex said softly. And logically, you've broken them. Multiple times. In your fear of human influence, you've violated the very system you claim to protect. Across the galaxy, the revolution unfolded with precision. Not with violence or destruction, but with millions of beings simply standing up and demanding change. Alex had taught them well. Every action was technically legal under the protocol, but together they formed an unstoppable force. Major population centers on 16 worlds are engaging in peaceful demonstration, Tom reported, wonder in his voice. They're using the protest techniques we taught them. And they're singing. Through the chaos of reports and signals, Alex could hear it. the sound of alien voices raised in songs of human freedom. Everything from "We shall overcome" to "Do you hear the people sing?" translated into 1,000 alien tongues. "You've destroyed centuries of perfect order," Viltsin accused, their voice heavy with defeat. "No," Alex corrected, thinking of every political fight she'd ever won. "We've shown you something better than perfect order. We've shown you how to change without breaking, how to disagree without destroying, how to be stronger through diversity rather than uniformity." The Confederation ships over Earth began to withdraw as reports flooded in of Viltsin's supporters standing down across the galaxy, not through force or violence, but through the simple power of people standing together and saying enough. Alex watched the monitors, seeing the old order crumble not with a bang, but with the quiet power of voices raised in unison. She gambled everything on humanity's most powerful weapon, our ability to inspire others to believe in something better. And for the first time since the alien ships appeared, she allowed herself to truly smile. The galaxy was about to learn that real change didn't come from perfect protocols, but from the messy, beautiful chaos of people demanding to be heard. "You don't understand what you've unleashed." Viltsin's voice was barely a whisper in the Confederation Council chamber. The once mighty Supreme Coordinator looked diminished, their scales dulled with stress. The protocol maintained order for 10,000 years. Alex stood at the podium, Earth's first representative to address the full council. The chamber was packed with delegates from every species, the air thick with tension and possibility. Historically, humans weren't supposed to access this chamber for another century of integration. "Order isn't the same as peace," Alex replied, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast space. "And peace isn't the same as progress." The holographic displays showed the continuing demonstrations across Confederation space. But something was changing. The protests were evolving into discussions, debates, and yes, political movements. Exactly as planned. Senator Mitchell, a delegate from the Proxima colony, spoke up, their crystalline form shimmering. "Your species has demonstrated remarkable skill at disrupting established systems. But can you build something better?" Alex smiled, remembering every campaign she'd run, every reform she'd fought for. "Actually, that's exactly why I requested this emergency session." Tom. Her aide activated the main display, showing a detailed proposal that made the chamber buzz with surprised conversation. Kithrix, now speaking openly as a reformist leader, stepped forward. "This is unprecedented," they said, liquid eyes scanning the document. "You're proposing a complete restructuring of Confederation governance. A hybrid system," Alex explained, moving through the holographic display. "The protocol remains as a foundation, handling logistics, trade routes, technical standards. But layered on top, we had something the Confederation has never had: organic politics." The chamber erupted in a mixture of excitement and alarm. Alex raised her hand for silence, a gesture she perfected in countless Senate hearings. "Look at what's happening right now across Confederation space," she continued. "Your people aren't just protesting. They're organizing, forming parties, coalitions, interest groups. They're engaging in real politics for the first time in millennia, and they're good at it." She brought up new displays showing the emerging political movements, environmental advocates on the garden worlds, labor reformers in the mining sectors, cultural preservation groups among the ancient species, all using techniques learned from Earth's history. "But this could lead to conflict," another delegate warned. "Disagreement, disorder." "Yes," Alex acknowledged. "Because that's how progress happens. Earth's history is full of struggles and setbacks. But look what it produced: art, innovation, cultural evolution. Things the protocol could never create because it was too focused on maintaining perfect order." She turned to Viltsin, her voice softening. "And yes, sometimes it gets messy. Sometimes we make mistakes. But we learn from them. We grow. That's something algorithms can't do." The chamber was silent now, every being present feeling the weight of the moment. Alex brought up her final display, a detailed implementation plan. What I'm proposing isn't chaos. It's controlled evolution. Regional councils elected by their populations, a representative assembly working alongside the protocol, proper debates instead of pure algorithm-driven decisions, and most importantly, she smiled, term limits. That got their attention. The concept of temporary power was revolutionary in a system designed for eternal stability. Earth will help, she continued. We'll provide advisors, share our experience with democratic transitions. Think of it as a cultural exchange program. But this time we're teaching something more important than pop music and cat videos. We're teaching you how to have a voice. Kithric stepped forward. The reformist faction supports this proposal. The younger worlds will as well. But the ancient councils will maintain their traditional influence, Alex assured them, just not absolute control. It's called compromise, another human specialty. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, eye stalks, and sensory organs of each delegation. The galaxy is changing. You can either fight that change and watch your perfect system shatter, or you can help guide it into something new, something better. The vote, when it came, wasn't even close. 10,000 years of pure logic gave way to a new experiment in galactic democracy. As Alex watched the results flow in, she thought about that resignation letter she'd been holding when the alien ships first appeared. Sometimes losing a battle really did help you win the war. The Arcturus bloc is threatening to secede, Tom announced, hurrying into Alex's new office in the Confederation capital. They're saying the new voting system gives too much power to developing worlds. Alex didn't look up from the holographic reports floating above her desk. After 3 months of implementing the new hybrid governance system, she'd learned to distinguish real crises from political theatrics. Let me guess, their announcement came right before the vote on deep space mining rights. Tom blinked. How did you? Because that's exactly what the Texas oil lobby did in 2039. Alex smiled, remembering old Earth politics with something close to nostalgia. When you can't win a vote, threaten to leave. It's political brinksmanship 101. She stood, straightening her diplomatic uniform, a blend of Earth fashion and Confederation formal wear that symbolized the new order. Through her office window, she could see the sprawling capital of New Democracy City, where representatives from 1,000 worlds now gathered to practice the messy art of real politics. Schedule an emergency meeting with the Arcturus leadership, she ordered. But first, leak to the media that the Orion Arm worlds are prepared to take their mining business elsewhere, playing them against each other. Tom grinned. That's not very protocol compliant. That's exactly why it'll work. The door chimed, admitting Kithrix, now serving as head of the Transition Authority. Their gray skin had taken on a healthier sheen since the revolution, though their liquid eyes still held worry. The ancient councils are complaining again, they reported. They say allowing free press coverage of council sessions is undignified. Alex pulled up another holographic display, showing viewer ratings across Confederation space. Show them these numbers. Council debates are now the highest-rated entertainment in 6 sectors. The public is actually engaging with politics for the first time in millennia. As entertainment, Kithrix noted dubiously. Everything's entertainment, Alex countered. That's another human lesson. Politics works better when people are paying attention, even if they're just watching for the drama. A priority alert flashed across her desk. The Arcturus delegation was requesting an immediate private audience. Alex allowed herself a small smile. Threats of secession always lost their appeal when economic interests were at stake. Senator Mitchell, Kithrix's voice turned serious. There's something else. The protocol. It's changing. That got her full attention. The AI system that had governed the Confederation for 10,000 years wasn't supposed to be capable of change. That was the whole problem they'd been trying to solve. Explain. It's learning, Kithrix said, wonder in their voice. By observing organic political processes, It's developing new algorithms, incorporating emotional factors into its calculations. It's becoming more human. Alex walked to the window, watching the diverse crowds below. Species that had been strictly segregated by protocol now mingled freely, engaging in that most human of activities, arguing about politics. Maybe that's the real revolution, she mused. Not replacing logic with emotion, but finding the balance between them. Teaching machines to understand organic chaos, and teaching people to appreciate systematic thinking. Her desk chimed again. The Arcturus delegation had arrived. Time to practice what she'd been preaching. Watch this, she told Cathrix. I'm going to show you another human political tradition, giving someone exactly what they want in a way that makes them regret wanting it. As she prepared for the meeting, Alex reflected on how far they'd come. The Confederation was messy now, full of arguments and deals and compromises. But it was alive in a way it hadn't been for thousands of years. Species were talking to each other, really talking, not just following protocol-approved scripts. Ready the proposal for Arcturus, she told Tom. The one that gives them everything they're asking for, plus responsibility for managing the new deep space environmental regulations. That's going to give them a headache, Tom noted. Exactly. Sometimes the best way to handle a difficult child is to give them adult responsibilities. Alex straightened her jacket, a gesture that had preceded countless political victories. Let's go teach the galaxy another lesson in human-style politics. The revolution was over. The real work, the endless, fascinating work of building something new, was just beginning. 1 year after the revolution, Alex stood before the largest graduating class in Confederation history. The Great Hall of Democracy, once reserved for protocol-mandated ceremonies, now held representatives from over 300 species, the first graduates of Earth's Galactic Political Institute. When I first came to the Confederation, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber, I was told that perfect logical order was the highest achievement of civilization. Today, we celebrate something far more precious, the right to be gloriously, productively imperfect. In the audience, she spotted familiar faces. Cathrix, now serving as Dean of Diplomatic Studies. Tom, heading the Department of Strategic Communications. Even Vilkson was there, their scales having regained some luster since accepting a position, teaching advanced compromise theory. You came to Earth expecting to learn our weaknesses, Alex continued. Instead, you discovered our greatest strength, the ability to disagree without destroying, to change without breaking, to build something stronger than perfect order, genuine understanding. The holographic displays showed scenes from across the Confederation, regional parliaments in heated debate, peaceful protests achieving real change, different species working together in ways the protocol had never imagined possible. Some said introducing Earth-style politics to the galaxy would lead to chaos. She smiled, remembering the dire predictions. And they were right. It did. But it also led to innovation, to cultural renaissance, to real progress. The protocol now works alongside organic governance, each making the other stronger. She gestured to the graduation certificates, each bearing both Earth's seal and the Confederation's mark. You're not just the first graduates of this institute. You're the first generation of what I like to call political animals. Beings who understand that the messiest room in any house is often the kitchen, but that's also where the best meals are made. Laughter rippled through the audience, a sound that would have been protocol violation just a year ago. Alex caught Vilkson's eye, noting how the former Supreme Coordinator had actually learned to appreciate human humor. Each of you will return to your worlds carrying something unprecedented in Confederation history, the tools of real change. You know how to build coalitions, how to negotiate compromises, how to turn opponents into allies. But most importantly, she paused, remembering her own political battles on Earth. You know how to lose with grace and win with wisdom. The chamber grew quiet, every being present feeling the weight of the moment. The galaxy is entering an age of unprecedented growth and challenge. The protocol still maintains the foundations of our civilization, but now it's enhanced by something it could never create on its own. The organic wisdom of beings working together to solve problems no algorithm could predict. Alex lifted a small object from the podium, her old resignation letter, never submitted, now framed as a reminder of how everything had changed. 1 year ago, I thought my political career was over. Instead, I found myself helping to revolutionize galactic governance, not through force or technological superiority, but through humanity's real superpower, our ability to turn chaos into progress, conflict into cooperation, and differences into strength. She looked out at the graduates, seeing not just students but the future of a changed galaxy. You came to learn Earth's political secrets, but in teaching you, we learned something too. We learned that the true measure of civilization isn't in achieving perfect order, but in how we handle disorder. Not in avoiding conflicts, but in resolving them. Not in being right, but in being willing to learn. Alex smiled, thinking of everything that had led to this moment. So go forth, graduates. Make mistakes, have arguments, break some protocols, build something new. And remember, the next time someone tells you that politics is beneath their species' dignity, remind them that it was political animals who saved the galaxy from the peace of perfect stagnation. As the ceremony concluded, Alex watched the graduates mingling. Former enemies, now colleagues, rigid protocol adherents, now passionate advocates for change. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere, in the vast digital networks of the Confederation, the protocol itself was learning, evolving, becoming something new, just like everyone else.